Hello, everyone, and welcome to an all new Deep Cuts Live. I'm your host, Antoine Reid, and today I have a very special guest with us. We have Ibis Luis. You might know her as Cigar Lover 12 on Instagram, but she's also a brand owner now as of a couple of months ago. So she's the owner of Pangea Cigars. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes, you got it.
Cool. Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, like I was saying before we recorded that I saw you at the trade show. We passed each other, and then we didn't see each other for the rest of the trade show. So I was thinking this will be a great opportunity to catch up with you with what you're doing because, like I said, I know we all got this big press release that you were getting into being a brand owner now, which I thought was great because I was like, oh, like duh, like why isn't she a brand owner? Because you know so much about cigars. So it seems to make sense that that was the natural progression for you to have your own brand. So I'm looking forward to talking about that some today and getting just catching up and figuring out what you've been up to since we've last really seen each other.
Yeah, it's a lot going on. Definitely, with Pangea, we're so excited, me and my partner. It's been a roller coaster of emotion, being on this side of the industry. So far, so good. It's amazing, honestly. It was like meant to be, and people are loving it. We're so grateful. The feedback has been great. So yeah, like you say, it's a lot with Cigar Lover now, Pangea. So it feels right, it feels right. So yeah, I'm ready for your questions.
Well, first we're going to start off with a icebreaker just to kind of get the conversation flowing. So
Okay.
my question to you is, if you could erase one trend from history, what would that trend be?
Ooh. Oh, that was very unexpected, no cigar related. So I'm like, okay. Uh, mm, honestly, nothing crossed my mind. Trend wise, you got me off guard. I don't know what. I don't know. Maybe remember. I remember in high school wearing those jeans like very low, like Brazilian, and then
Uh-huh.
everybody's body was kind of weird. Back then was kind of cool. Now I feel like everybody's body is kind of, I don't know. They wear for too long those amazing jeans, but now I'm like, why we did that? Why we did that to ourselves? So I would say that one would, in my head, it's like, no, not sure why I did that. So yeah, those jeans are not, I don't recommend to wear those.
The low rise era of
Yes,
jeans. Yeah,
yes,
yeah, that was
yes.
I mean, you thought it was awkward, but try being like a male and being like trying to like low rise. You have to have like a certain body type, and it's very hard. It
Yes,
was very hard to like pull it off, and I obviously did not. So that's definitely a trend I was
absolutely.
happy that we departed from.
Yeah, I'm glad. Trust me, I'm glad too. It was so weird. I don't know. Like the reason kind of like I thought about it is because I saw a picture recently, like why I was wearing that. And then why you do that to yourself? And then, so many years, time passed and you realize, yeah, that wasn't a good idea.
But it was fashionable at the time, so
It was,
back
yeah.
then you didn't think of it. You didn't give it another thought. You're like, got to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
So that well, I can't say that that leads us into our whole conversation, but obviously when we talk about trends and things coming in and out of fashion, what I appreciate about you is that first of all, I feel like you're like one of like the cigar experts. Like you know what you're talking about with cigars. I've seen you like I said working like in the trade show setting. I've seen you working like just out in the field as I say, like at Pro Cigar, and you like know what you're talking about and you know what you're doing. And I know that it can be intimidating for some people to kind of come in this industry because it's almost like you're expected to like know everything and how to smoke a cigar correctly, how to hold a cigar, how to do all this stuff, and it's just really difficult to like learn. So I appreciate and respect that the fact that you've done all that stuff to the point where I would consider you, like I said, to be like a real like expert at not just the cigar stuff, but also how to promote it. Because I think that's it's becoming increasingly more difficult to promote cigars, not just because of people being anti-smoking, but just when we're up against AI now and algorithms, and it's just hard to promote
Yes.
premium cigars.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I mean, yeah, it's been crazy. I started like 15 years ago in retail, and for me, I always say cigar is not a lifestyle, it's my life. You know, I don't see it like a hobby, I don't see it like a business, it's just like part of my life. And it was and it's incredible how every day you learn so much. Like you mentioned, Pro Cigar going to the trade show, and you get to meet the real expert, the farmers, and they start talking about fermentation. And you've been to all these shows, and you go to so many factories and so many farms, and every time you go, you learn something new. So it's like for me, it's like there's not enough. I need to find out more. I need to talk to these people, and it's crazy because every time something little like crossed my mind. I'm like, I need to call Nestor Andres Plasencia or AJ Fernandez. I'm like, okay, let me talk to the real and find out if it's, you heard so many like when it's full moon and the harvest and the tobacco. I'm like, I don't think that's real. So let me talk to the real people. But yeah, I mean, it's such a beautiful industry. It's for me is every day is like even like when I look at a cigar and looking at the wrapper and smelling that it's the whole process. It's not just cut and light. It's just like let's just enjoy this for a minute. This is a masterpiece. We're talking about so many people behind one single cigar. For me, it blows my mind. It's like people have no idea how much work is behind one single cigar. And it's just the appreciation of the wrapper when you cut the cigar, the smell when you feel it is. I mean, I was going to smoke Pangea, but it's so hot in Miami. I'm like, there's no way. I'm gonna be melting in the interview. Like, hi, thank you for having me. So I couldn't do it. But I have it. I was so excited to smoke this one. This is the Connecticut. And like in my head, when you look at, just like enjoy it, feel it, smell it, taste, like don't go straight. Like we're so rushing. And I know this, like I say, this is not a hobby for me, but people have to really enjoy what is just a cigar. Just look at the wrapper, at the ring, the art. When you cut it, when you smell it, take a moment, pause. That's your moment. Even if it is a 520, doesn't matter the price. It's just enjoy the moment. So that's one of the things I always try to be present when I'm smoking a cigar, and I love smoking cigar by myself. When you're in a group of people in a cigar shop, you're just, socializing. You don't really pay attention to this masterpiece. That's the way I see it.
So you said that you started kind of 15 years ago. So like,
hmm
what got you into the cigar lifestyle?
Actually, it was the smell. Since I was a kid, my aunt used to smoke. She still smoke a lot of cigars every day. So I grew up like with her. Like I'm like, this is so cool. The smell is beautiful. I mean, for me, it was like the aroma. It's like wake me up. It made me feel good, special. And yeah, 15 years ago, I was done. I was in the medical field in college. I was doing the clinicals, nothing to do with cigar. I just needed a part time. So I was very close to Little Havana in Miami, and Craigslist. I found this job. I'm like, oh, that looks cool. I've never been to a cigar shop in my life, so I went to Cayocho, and when I walk in, I'm like, the smell. The smell was like, okay, I belong here. I don't know how. This is so beautiful. The store was stunning. And I talked to the owner, and I was like a kid in a candy shop. I'm like, oh my God, you have so many cigars. This is so amazing. And yeah, the plan was to stay there for 6 months. I was like, yeah, I have my career, I passed my board. I mean, I'm gonna be working in the hospital. I have nothing to do with smoking. I mean, in my head, it's like, no way. Yeah, I was, like I say, I was planning to work there for 5, 6 months. I was there for 5 years.
Wow.
I fall in love. I fall in love with with everything, with the people and the whole process and connecting. And like, this is so cool. You don't really find a lot of things like handmade anymore.
Hmm.
So it was, well, the rest is history. Now I'm here. So that's how it started. It was just literally because of the smell. I'm like, I need a part time, and why not cigars? I always liked it when I was a kid smelling cigars.
So how did you go about, like, I know you said like now if you have a question you can just pick up the phone and call, someone in the industry and ask them that question. But back then, like as you were like learning about the industry, like how are you learning about the industry? Like what were you doing to
Ooh, yeah.
get that knowledge? Because I'm sure as you're in a retail store, people come up to you, ask questions or something, and you're just like, like that is a good question, or I might not know that today. Like, let me get
Yeah.
back to you. So, how did you kind of learn about the industry or in those early days?
Yeah, at the beginning, actually, the first week in that job, Mario, the owner of Little Havana Cigar Factory, he goes like, "Here's a book you need with cigar for dummies. Oh, you're gonna have a test in a week." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is like a serious job." Obviously, I read the book back and forth. I was so freaking out, like, I don't want to lose this job. I just really need to finish my clinicals in the hospital. I'm gonna start. A week later, I'm like, "Hey, I'm ready." He's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, no, I finished the book." And he's like, "I was kidding." I'm like, "Oh my God, I thought you really mean it. I'm gonna have a test to keep my job." I read that book. I would never forget in a week. And I read it like, I'm like, okay, I really need to know everything, like regions and wrappers and all this. Everything was new. For me, everything was new. And like I knew how to cut and light up because I used to see my aunt smoking, but no idea like with so many regions, how long it would take to make one cigar. So after that, I don't know why I started like getting more books and I started reading. I literally have more than 20 cigar book. I don't know. I started collecting cigars book for no reason. Some when I say no reason, because some of them are not that good. And then it's just like nice pictures and Cuban cigars and all that. But it was reading a lot, honestly. Back then, no ChatGPT, no like yeah, it was Google, but it was not really a lot of information on cigars. And I like you say, I didn't know anybody. So I would say after 5 years I started, going to events. Obviously, the PCA was IPCPR, I believe was the
Hmm.
name. And yeah, I started getting to know it's a very small industry. So you kind of, trust me, you're gonna run into someone that really know what they're doing. So after that, it was just easy. It was just easy to really connect with the manufacturer and find out more. And always when it was a new cigar, it was my mission to know everything. What's the blend? How long it's been aged? I always say if you're in retail, that's your job to know. Okay, this family is growing tobacco in this region, why it's different compared to whatever region, right? So I took it very seriously. So so that's how I started. Yeah.
So, what would you say is your favorite cigar book?
The cigar book. I think the cigar book is it covers everything like history. I think that would be the one. The rest, like I say, there are so many, but there is not that good.
Right. I just find it
Yeah.
interesting that like whenever I encounter like someone in retail or even like a sales rep that says like I've been in certain different jobs over my since 2010 here in the cigar industry, and I know that certain places I've encountered like sales reps, and they were like, I saw a video of a cigar being made, and I was surprised. I was like transfixed, and I was like, why? And they're like, I had never seen it before. So I was like, how can you sell a product that you aren't that familiar with? Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand like how in this industry, like how you can you know, how can you sell? Like I said, how can you sell something that you're not really familiar
Yeah.
with? Like if someone asked you, like, how is a cigar made? Like that's like the most simplest of questions that hopefully people would be able to answer. But obviously, there are people who don't know.
Yeah.
So I like that you were willing to like learn and stuff because there is a lot to learn,
Yes.
from the techniques, but also from, like you said, when someone, even asks where a cigar is made, and you just say, "Oh, Cuba." Like that's it.
Yeah.
And like no, like when you tell them like different countries, I
Yeah.
mean they're surprised sometimes.
For me, it's very impressive how we don't have, like, I know many industry, when you start, you're new, you don't know anything about this industry. Why someone, they don't do what this guy did to me. Hey, here's a book. You have to read it. You're going to have a test. You
Right.
know, in my head, that was like, oh my God, this is serious. I need to know. At this point, I'm telling you, 15 years later, I have so much love and respect for the tobacco, for the leaf. Why? Because I've been to so many factories, like I know you've been. I've been to so many farms, and I know the whole process. And it blows my mind how people make their own blend and they have their own brand, and they've never been to a factory.
Hmm.
I've never seen a tobacco plant. And that doesn't make sense to me. It's just like you really need to get involved. You need to touch the soil. You need to touch the plant. You need to at least try to roll a cigar. I mean, it doesn't mean you're going to be a roller. It's just to at least have that feeling to get involved in where it's your business or your job. But yeah, I see it every day. I see it every day that, sometimes they release a cigar and like, hey, what's the blend? I'll try it. It's amazing. Like, I want to know what's the wrapper. I mean, you can lie to me because some wrappers you cannot even tell. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
it could be a Maduro from, I don't know, it could be a San Andres, it could be a Maduro from your backyard. I don't know where you grow the tobacco. I mean, I think it's fair enough if I'm going to smoke it. I want to know what's inside, you know?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's just is if we shared the knowledge, it would be great. And obviously, the final consumer have the right to know where they're smoking, and they should get more involved, and they should ask more questions. That's the only way you learn. I always been like that kid, like why? So I wanted to know, like, okay, how from this plant you make this beautiful cigar? How that happened? So the more question you ask, that's the only way you're gonna find out. Okay, now I get it. Why it's $25, $50? I mean, it depends. Price. We don't need to talk about that, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work behind each cigar.
So as someone who obviously knows a lot more about wrappers and like what the different growing regions are and stuff like that, how much does like cigar ratings, reviews, and stuff like that kind of play into how much you enjoy a cigar? Like, do you pay attention to them, or do you just kind of like read them and like what's your relationship with that part of the industry?
Zero. Absolutely. Oh God, I may get in trouble for this, but I truly believe cigars is like it's like cooking in a way. Like, when you're cooking, everyone have different palate. You can make
Mhm.
like you may like, I don't know, like Peruvian food. I may like sushi. I may, like it's a completely. I cannot tell you this is the best cigar you ever gonna smoke. I will be lying. That's absolutely BS. That's not fair because it could be my favorite cigar based on my background. I don't eat spicy. Maybe you're from India and you're used to the pepper, like the curry. Like, who knows? Like, everybody have different palate. So I wonder when they do the ratings. Yeah, it's 20 people, 10 people, 50 people try, and they all agree this is the number one.
I
I
know.
mean, I respect every opinion, but I would never smoke a cigar based on ratings because in the last 15 years, I have smoked the top five cigar, some magazine we don't have to mention. And you're like, really? Like, there's so many cigars out there better, or maybe that's a good cigar, but come on, for me, it may be not the number one. Why? Because it doesn't have the tasting notes that I'm looking in a cigar, or maybe the quality control, or maybe you're just, the name, it's marketing. I think marketing is everything in life. If you have a great marketing, you're gonna succeed. It doesn't matter if you have a great cigar if you don't have a great marketing.
Right.
So, I mean, that is in every industry. It's not just cigar. But yeah, I don't follow ratings. I obviously respect the opinion of the professional. And if you telling me, okay, 50 people agree on this, I'm like, okay, great, I will give it a try. Maybe I don't agree with those 50 people. But those ratings, I always tell when I was in retail, it's like, be open to try everything. Yeah, you can try the top 25, and maybe from those top 25, you may like five and you're gonna fall in love with those five. This is your palate. Doesn't mean you're wrong or right, you know? So it's preference. It's no, I mean, like there's been so many cigar of the year that I don't agree, and I don't think it's nothing wrong. It's just it's no my palate.
Hmm. Yeah, I find that there are so many cigars on the market that I'm surprised when people don't want to experiment and try something completely different than what they are used to. Like even like when you're kind of in the media side of the industry, obviously they sometimes send you samples of stuff. And what I've found in the last couple of years is that I've been paying more attention to like the factory behind the cigar more so than the brand, just because there's some cigars that are made by, here in Nicaragua or by this factory in Honduras. And you can find, you could find so many cigars that aren't branded particularly like that company, whereas the factory, but they're still good cigars. So it really
Yeah.
kind of is weird that people follow, kind of get stuck in thinking like, oh, I only like this cigar, and yet they tried that number one cigar somewhere. You're like, did you know that that same factory makes this other cigar, and they have no idea what you're talking about? They're like, no, that's
Exactly.
something else. You're like, no, they made that cigar.
Yeah, yeah. It's for me is impressive. Like when, like the final consumer, they don't have that information. It creates so much confusion because they don't even, when you mention it, like, oh, these people make this too. I'm like, no, they don't, because I don't like that. I'm like, hey, it's like cooking. I always say it's like cooking. You can buy like you can buy the tomatoes and the lettuce and the chicken for me, and then I don't know what you do in your kitchen. I don't know how you blend it, right? Maybe you put a little bit too pepper or too much salt, and maybe I don't like too much salt in my food. It depends. So there are so many factories that make cigar for so many people that we know, and then the final consumer, they don't know that. And then it's the other side. There the people that they don't have factory and they're making cigar for a lot of people, and then the blends are okay, and then it's funny how it works because you may have a perception like every cigar company owns farm and factory, and it's so rare in this industry to have both. And people
Hmm.
should know that. People should know that because it doesn't mean it's good or bad. It's just mean like you should know where, okay, if you're supporting this family from day one because oh they're the best, and like do you really know this family doesn't even have a farm and they buy tobacco from Ecuador or whatever, and they're amazing. Why? Because they know what they're doing and they know blending. So you
Hmm.
don't really have to own a farm and a factory to make great cigar, but it would be a good background to know, okay, where are you getting your cigar? What's the quality? What are you putting there? When you smoke it, you can tell. Quality control is, for me, is so important. If I need to light up my cigar more than three, four times, I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like it could be my fault. It could be I left it up, not in the humidor. It could be many factors, but if you need to light up your cigar more than four or five times, and you're not talking, because usually people are like talking, talking, and the
Right.
cigar is off. But yeah, quality control is so important. It's so, so important. I mean, it's not just the flavor. If you need to light it up every minute, that's not how it should be.
So another part of I feel like your whole kind of package deal is that, like I said, you're like an expert when it comes to how to handle social media, promoting cigars and yourself on social media. And you have this account, Cigar Lover 12, which is I think a brand within itself. So how did you come to like make this account and get it to where it is today? Like how long has this taken you?
Yeah, that was almost 10 or 11 years ago. It wasn't this my first job in the industry in this store. I had customers that were all from over, like from all over. And they were like, hey, I'm spending 6 months in Brazil and then 6 months in Miami. I want to know where you're smoking. I want to know what's new. We have similar palettes, so I love your recommendations. How can I find out? I'm like, oh, I don't know. And they start telling me, oh, you should create an account. I start sharing stories. I'm like, no, I'm not a big on social media. I mean, why I should be posting a picture of myself smoking a cigar. No, you don't have to show your face, maybe your hands or a box or something. And then it was a rep from Miami Cigar, Danny. He was like, "You should do it. You start posting pictures smoking cigar. People are gonna love it. You have your customers, they want to know what's new, and you can share every new cigar every time in the store you can smoke it." And it took a while for them to convince me to do it because I'm like, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me why I should do that. So I would never forget. My first picture was a David of Diadema, Nicaragua, with a lighter. I don't remember. The lighter was like a black and bronze, but the picture got like 50 likes. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I was so excited. I'm like, I have 50 people. And it was just the cigar and the lighter. No hands, no face. I'm like, okay, let's start doing this. It was so organic. They even picked a name for me. I didn't pick the name. I was like, I don't even know what would be. And they were like, well, you're a cigar lover. I'm like, that sounds a little bit like, I don't know. I'm like, yeah, well, you are a cigar lover. Why not? And then they were like, what's your favorite number? I'm like, I like 12. I'm like, okay, cigar lover 12. Why not? So everything was picked for me. They pushed me. And here because they made me do it. So yeah, it was very organic and it was growing. It was to where I see it. It's like little by little, it was so organic how people were engaging with me, and I still have followers from day one. It's like, oh, I follow you from the beginning, and I'm proud of you. You grow so much, and everything you're doing is amazing. I'm like, since day one, I'm like, shoot, it's been a while. It's been a while. It's been a while. But yeah, it was very organic. It was actually a request. It was my customer asking me for that. And it's a lot right now. I'm like full time with Cigar Lover and obviously trying to, like you mentioned, AI and all this regulation we have with tobacco is so hard. And I always try to do it organic. I don't like to push any brand in people's face. I want to just share the value. I want to share like, hey, Placenza is such a great cigar because of this, this, this. The family is amazing, the tobacco is great, and every brand I represent, I show all the love and respect, and I try to share very organic. I would never say like, hey, buy now, you need to get it.
Hmm.
It's not about that. It's just how I believe in this industry, people are very loyal to brands and they've been smoking the same brand for generations. Like, oh, I smoke, because my grandfather used to smoke this. Like Coiva, all this famous brand like Monte Cristo, Macanudo. Oh, my grandfather used to smoke Macanudo, so I only smoke Macanudo. I'm like, but how you try anything else made by the same people? No, why should do that? So that's when it comes, like I say, the knowledge and the passion, how you can spread, okay, the word, where like, give it a try, try something else and be open to your palate to be surprised. So yeah, so it's a mission, but I love it. I mean, engaging with my followers, and sometimes I get message that make me cry. Like I don't know, like people like, oh, I'm smoking Placencia, I'm a forte on my wedding day because since day one, you're the one, like, the way you make it look, I wanted to try it, and now it's my favorite cigar. I'm like, oh my God, you're smoking a cigar on your wedding day because I smoke it, like, so those comments make you like, wow, like people
Hmm.
really follow you and they trust what you do. And now with Pangea, it's been crazy. I mean, I was sure I mean, it was going to work, but I never thought it would be this madness. I would never guess people would support me this, like at this point. Like, they had never seen it, they had never smoked it, and they're buying the box and they're loving it. And like, that means a lot. I'm so grateful. And when people were like, oh, now my favorite cigar is Pangea, I'm like, oh my God, we released this like 3, 4 months ago, and it's already your favorite cigar. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how you
So,
can
what
grow.
have you? This is my, business question that I like to ask people. But what have you learned about yourself since launching Pangea?
Ah, well, hmm, hmm. That's a good one. Um, I would say patient. I would say patient, and I always been very like get it now, do it now. Everything have to be done. And with Pangea, obviously people don't know if you're not a manufacturer. The whole process, the boxes, the ring, just every little detail is a process. And it's teaching me that. It's teaching me like, hey, when the moment is right, it would happen. Like say, God time is perfect, and I truly believe in that. So that I would say patient. I would say like to take things slow, and when it's supposed to happen, it would happen.
And I'm always interested in why people name things the way they did. So why did you choose the name Pangea?
Well, Pangea. So, long story short, my business partner, she used to have a beautiful shop in California. She sold the business like over 2 years ago. And then she was like, I don't know what to do. I've been working on this house plan for so long, and now I sold the business. I want to stay in the cigar industry. And then I was ready to move on from, my job. And I was like, well, I'm going to be 100% influencer now. Like, I want to concentrate on cigar lover. I've been thinking about this name for a cigar for so many years, but I would do it later when I'm old, when I retire, make come out with my own brand. I don't know. And then I told her Pangea. Pangea was a supercontinent. It was 300 million years ago. We used to be one. Everything used to be connected. So in Greek, it means all together. So Pangea was the name since I started in school. I was, I don't know, very, very, very young. It kept my name. I'm like, oh my God, how Africa and America, all this continent were together, and how that happened now we're so far. So I always say cigars bring people together, right? So in my head, it's like, this is the right name. It doesn't, it has to be Pangea, because since I was a kid, I always found it so cool, such a cool name. I'm like, Pangea. So she liked it, and she's like, "Oh, we have to come out with our brand." I'm like, "No, no, no, I'm not ready. I just want to be cigar lover." And she's like, "Let's do it." I'm like, "You know what? Why not?" So let's do it. And then yeah, we did it. She loved to name. She was working on the blend many years ago with Indiana Ortez, and yeah, I just had to name. So Pangea, and I just wanted, like I said, a name to connect with people. I don't care if you are in China, in India, in Honduras, in Nicaragua. When you smell Pangea, you feel part of something bigger.
And so India had helped with the blending process.
Yes, she was the one. She blended. She made the blend. We did a Connecticut and a Havano, and they were working on that for many years, and it's really good. No, it's because it's mine, but I'm telling you, the Connecticut sold out, and people are loving the blend. And the Ortiz family, I'm sure maybe not the final consumer, but they're the oldest Nicaraguan family in the industry. So they're not Cuban like most of the family. They're like sixth or fifth generation growing tobacco in Nicaragua. Beautiful family. They have a few factories. The farms are stunning. Like the way they do it is very different.
Hmm.
And when my partner told me, "Oh, I've been working with her," I'm like, "This is amazing. She's a rock star. I mean, why not? Let's do it." So yeah, it was very organic the way it worked out.
And yeah, I think Indiana is one of those underestimated blenders in our industry. Like when I think of like
Absolutely.
the blenders that I've really gotten to know,
I
her
got
and
good stuff.
her and Henderson Ventura like have been like
Mhm.
they do such great work. Like I wish more people would follow like the blenders and their careers and all the different cigars they have their imprint on, rather than just following brands because they've done some awesome work. But when I read that in the press release, I was like, oh, it was like this is like a no brainer. Like this is like a hit already because I feel like if Miss Indiana Ortiz like blesses your blend and she works on it, then it's just like it's ready for prime time and it's ready to like really resonate with people because she knows obviously what she's doing.
Oh yeah, she's amazing. She's amazing. It was great working with her, and we still want to do something else with her. I mean, it was great. We're very happy we choose her for sure. Yeah.
So what has surprised you about the industry on the side of a brand owner? Because now you've done the retail side, you've done like the kind of marketing, social media
hmm
side, and now you're
hmm
working on, you know, the brand owner side. So what surprised you about the industry that you didn't know beforehand?
Uh, hmm. I mean, I've been dealing with retail for a long time, for a very, very long time. And when we decide to do Pangea, like, I want to do something different. And my partner was very supportive. She's like, okay, let's do it. And like, I want to sell to the final consumer. Okay, I know, like I said, this is an old school. Retails are the key. And I have so much love and respect for retail, but I'm like, I want to test it. I want to test the water. I want to see how is the cigar consumer, how they're getting their cigar, how they find out about brands. And the feedback we got in the last 4 months is impressive. And I mean, I don't have a million followers. I have like 100 something. My partner, she have 30 something, 30,000. I don't remember the number exactly. But I'm like, if the two of us are pulling this out, this is crazy how people are so connected to social media. And for me, it was a test. I'm like, I really want to test the water and see how much engagement, how many people will buy our cigars, and nobody knows who's Pangea, and nobody knows who make it. Because Indiana, yeah, we know her because we're in the industry, but the final consumer, they don't know her because she's not the big name that everybody knows, right? So honestly, I would say the feedback from the final consumer. I would say how they connected with us, how they trust me when it comes to like, oh, you've been in the industry for so long, you've worked with Placencia for so many years. I always try to share my knowledge, very respectful. I don't know anything. I'm trying to learn every day more and more, but the little things I know, I want to share with, like I say, with love and respect. But yeah, I mean, it's just the feedback from the final consumer. And I think everybody should know it's crazy how people are so attached to their phone and they're aware of everything. Like people are smoking Pangea. We're selling this right now just in US. And I'm getting pictures every day, people in Amsterdam, in Italy, in Spain. I'm like, like how is happening? How everybody's, is getting the cigar and how Pangea is now everywhere. And we're so grateful. But for me was that, like I say, testing the water, not going straight to retail, selling only, it's only available in Pangea cigars, and people reacted. It was that reaction that, like I say, was a test and it worked. So it was very impressive to prove my theory. Like people really trust what you do,
Hmm.
and sometimes you don't trust yourself, and you have to, because what we did it with a lot of sacrifice, a lot of, let's say, it was like, if we're gonna do it, we better do it right. We need a home run. We cannot mess this up, right? So, and getting the support was impressive. It's impressive. So yeah, I would say it would be getting the feedback from the final consumer.
Well, I like how you embrace technology because I found like, you know, those who use Instagram and such, they're more prone to trust technology to open to using it. And there's some in the industry who are very kind of stuck on tradition. Like they don't like they feel like they're having to compete with online retailers, or when you hear direct to consumer, they're like, oh, like that ruins the brand and all this other stuff. But I'm always surprised by how they don't really you know accept technology, but that's like the world that we live in. So I love that you're using direct to consumer more as a test bed than anything else, because it makes you think you can get out all the kinks and stuff, that they might not, some things that need to be changed before you really go that retail route. And then it's a better product. Like you're not having to guess. Like maybe it'll work, maybe it won't work.
Right, right. Yeah, it's just the industry is changing a lot, and it's a few companies that they're willing. You can tell they're willing to, like to go with this. Social media is everywhere. I mean, you cannot escape right now. Like I said, marketing is so important in any business. Even if you have a great product and you don't have a good marketing, it's not gonna work. That's not only true. And the way I see it is just it's changing for good. And you and me, and there's so many out there, it's the future of this industry. And we have to keep going and going and prove that it works. When I have a video, for example, that goes viral, and then I have people asking me and retailers telling me, oh, because of you, now I have all my customers asking me for this cigar. I'm like, oh my God, really? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, this is crazy. So that proved me every day that we need to keep going. We need to keep sharing, and we need to and I would love for all manufacturers, like people that have their own farms and factory, why you don't create videos talking about that? People say, like, oh, they already know. They don't know. People cannot afford to go to the factory or go to the farm. So for whatever reason, if you can share a little bit of what you're creating, that would be amazing. So sharing those video and getting more like what behind the leaf and how's the process, I think it would help the industry, not just your own brand. The
Hmm.
way I see it with Cigar Low is I'm helping the industry so people can see a different way. It's not just a man, old man, rich man smoking cigar. It's not like the stereotype or, oh, it has to be a $50 cigar to be good. I smoke everything, and I know you follow me. I can smoke. I mean, sometimes I smoke a Cuban cigar. It could be a cigarello. It could be a opus. It could be any cigar. And I show the same love and respect because I want my followers. Maybe you cannot afford a Pangea, but maybe you can afford, I don't know, like something less, a different company. And I'm happy with that. I'm helping the industry. You know what I mean? It's just if we keep going, it would help everybody. It's not just one brand. It would bring more people to this industry.
And I also picked up on what you said, not necessarily that you're moving or doing what you're doing to try to get people to like you, but you want people to trust you. And like that trust factor seems to be very important to your brand because trust kind of moves people to, you know, make purchasing decisions or say like, oh, I trust that person. That person said this is a good cigar, so despite it giving a bad rating over here, I'm going to trust this person and try it. So I wish more people in our industry focus a little bit on like building trust than trying to get like the vanity likes and just get high follow accounts and stuff like that. I think that trust factor is key to everything.
Absolutely. I think there are two words that I love to use in this industry. Number one is consistency. If we don't have consistency, we don't have anything in
Hmm.
life, but especially in cigar, because obviously if you smoke something, you want to, smoke it again and you want the same flavor, the same quality. So I would say number one is consistency, and number two is trust. You need to win that trust. And when you get that trust, you cannot ruin it. You can, if you put your name on something, you have your face on something, it better be good.
Hmm.
It's just like people are trusting you with 45 minutes of their life. So you cannot let people down. Time you never get it back. So for me, if I'm smoking a cigar for half an hour, whatever it is, if it is a double total, I don't know, a huge cigar, an hour, 2 hours, smoking a cigar is no good. You're ruining 2 hours of my life.
Right.
So that's how I see it. It better be good. It better
Hmm.
be good. So no pressure, but we should have a lot of pressure. We should have that pressure, like someone spending their money and time. It should be a good product.
um I know that you referred to yourself a few minutes ago as an influencer. um I think a lot of people, obviously, when when it comes to Instagram and Facebook in particular, they feel with any like cigar content, it's really hard to just promote it, and they don't know what to do. They talk about shadow bans and all that stuff. how do you
Mhm.
push through those, like the changing algorithms, the changing of the platforms, because they evolve just like anything else. So what was Instagram a year ago is not what Instagram is today. What it will be a year from now will be completely different from what it is today. It might be better, it could be worse. So how have you navigated all that?
It's been crazy. It's been a roller coaster, like you mentioned. It's changing all the time. So I always try to keep, I would say once a month, I do my little research. What's new on Instagram? What's the new algorithms? It's just every day they change something. And I would say, forget about hashtag, just gone, dead. Hashtag doesn't work. Um, and it's just when you get a video that is doing well, I'm not saying you have to continue doing the same thing, but just keep in mind the time of the video. Keep in mind what time, I mean, like how long was the video? Maybe it could be also what time you shared the video. And then if it is something, if you people like you're talking, do more video talking. If the
Hmm.
video is you opening boxes or showing a new product and that is working for you, keep doing that. So I don't really have one recommendation. It's just really have to be careful what is working for you and continue doing that. But obviously, like in general, like you need to keep up with Instagram, like what's new, what you should avoid. If it is a new trend, we're talking about trends. If it is
Hmm.
something going on like videos or something, you should definitely do it. Like if they're sharing stories, show me a picture of your, how was your last Christmas? You should definitely do it. You're connecting with your followers. You're showing a different side of you. I'm very private. I don't share my personal life, but I try to find a balance how to share who I really am with my followers. I saw a comment the other day. Oh, she's so perfect. I think this is AI. I'm like, oh my God. I was shocked. And like, seriously, now I have to like prove myself I'm not an AI. Like, this is ridiculous. But we got to that point. We got
Hmm.
to that point that we don't know what's real anymore.
And it goes back to
Yeah,
trust. Do you trust what you're
exactly.
do you trust what you're seeing, or do you trust what you're hearing, and stuff like that? What I liked about your content, because like like there's a video you posted recently where you're in a car and you're just enjoying a cigar, and a cigar, cigar's like part of, like, it seemed like it was a part of the experience. It wasn't like the focus of the video so much as it was you're in this car, you're driving along, you could kind of, you feel like you were like a passenger in the car with you watching that video. And then there's another one where you're kind of, I think, you know out at the ocean, like beach boat kind of situation, and you're enjoying cigar. So it's like that lifestyle part where I feel like it was important to see, because I think one of the things that we're finally starting to get away from in the industry is the idea that cigars are only for a certain group of people, or it's like a old person's you know
Hmm.
lifestyle that younger people can't enjoy. So I like that you're showing that part of the content, and that it does feel organic and real, and authentic.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's just like the industry. I mean, I feel like every manufacturer is like, oh, how can we bring more people to the industry, the younger people to smoke? And then, like, we are so used to seeing in the movies, it's, like politicians and all rich men with money smoking or celebrating with cigars. And it's changing. I know it's changing. I would say in the last more than 5 years, I would say people are open to explore, like
Hmm.
to go to cigar shop and go to pairing, and especially females, I know they get a little more like, oh, I don't know how. I mean, it's I think when I say we, the industry, we have to be open and change and be willing to learn more. Like we need to train the staff, we need to train the reps, we need to train the people at the shop. Why I say that? I walked into a cigar shop like not even 2 months ago. It was late night, I don't know, 9 p.m. I was craving a cigar. I'm like, I was a cigar shop. I don't really go. I don't know anybody there. And I walk in, and the lady, as soon as I walk in, it's like, hey, do you want a flavor cigar?
Oh, you're just like,
I was like, oh, like, okay. I'm good. Don't worry about it. I got this. And she was like, I can show you a mild cigar. I'm like, oh my gosh. She keep
it's
like
like every
pushing up.
stereotype.
I mean, and you can tell she was new. I mean, I talked to her later. She was new. She had zero training. But it's not in her, it's the owners. It's like why they haven't trained this person, don't stereotype. Because if you're an old man, you walk in, you're gonna, oh, let me give you a full body cigar, like you look like you can handle I mean, like, what is that? You don't tell anybody. Like the question would be like, hey, what do you like to smoke? No, like, do you want a flavor cigar? I was so offended. Oh my god, I wanted like she ruined my night. I'm like, this is not happening. This is incredible. I mean, I was so pissed, honestly. And that is when I'm, going back to the whole trust and like, is this is on us. We need to teach everybody like how we can be better, how we can share the knowledge what's behind a cigar. Don't stereotype. We need to stop doing that because this is not, yes, it's a men industry, and like I mentioned many times, I have love and respect for everyone, but everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome. Okay, it doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter what you do, just enjoy the cigar. But I don't like when people feel like you're not welcome, you know. So that's not the point of cigar. Like I say, Pangea bring people together, and when you're smoking a cigar, it doesn't matter where you come from. We're just having a good time, relax, enjoy. We talk. But if we put this mindset like female flavor cigar, all men full body, so it's just like that's not gonna work. That's not how it's supposed to be. We're better than that. So yeah, we're still running to that.
So as we kind of get to this part of the interview, I'd like to kind of wrap things up with, basic questions. And I know we have some more things to film after this, but for you, one of those questions I love to ask every guest is, do you have a philosophy that you like to live or work by?
Um, hmm. Mm, I'm very sensitive when it comes to time. I think time is priceless. So I always like to be present, and I believe cigar is the best way to keep you in the present when you're enjoying and smoking. And it's just time is you would never get it back, right?
Hmm.
So I hate wasting my time. I have that in my head. Like every time I'm doing something, it have to be something meaningful. Even if I'm sleeping, but I enjoy in that time. I'm like, okay, this is my sleeping time, my beauty sleeping. But I would say time. I think people need to be more conscious about that, and that's my philosophy in my head. It's like, how can I enjoy and be productive at any time? Because you never know when is your last time. So you have to be very, very careful with everything and just be present and enjoy it. You know,
And I want you to finish this sentence. Ibis Luis is.
soul. I'm just a soul here in planet Earth. um, yeah, I'm just a soul.
I think that's a very unique answer, so that's good.
Thank you.
Um, so for those people who are not watching this and they may just be listening to this, can you tell people what website they need to go to, what social media they need to follow in order to keep up with you and also your brand?
Yes. So on Instagram, it would be Cigar Lover 12. And then my business is Pangea Cigars, pangeacigars.com. And then on Instagram, we're Pangea Globally.
Awesome. Well, I want you to sit tight because we got a couple more things to film before we're done today. But for those of you watching or listening to this part of the podcast, I want to thank you for tuning in today. If you want to catch any of this interview or any of the other interviews that we've done, you can find them all on youtube.com/deepcutslive or on any of the podcasting platforms. And be sure to leave a comment anywhere where you see this content. We always enjoy getting comments and reading comments and using those comments to improve upon what we do here. So Thank you, Evis, for coming on. Sit tight. And for everyone else, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time.